The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Hermione's boots echoed across the crystalline floor. Every species representative present, the insectoid Vrath, the gaseous Inari, the towering Koldrath, turned their attention to the human woman who dared interrupt their session. Her dark eyes blazed with an emotion most of them had never witnessed in a human before. Unbridled fury. "You will hear me," Hermione said, her voice cutting through the chamber like a plasma blade. Behind her, holographic evidence flickered to life. Images that would haunt the galaxy for generations to come. Quill stood at the rear of the chamber, his hands clenched into fists. As Hermione's partner in the human diplomatic corps, he had begged her to let him present the evidence. But she had insisted. Some truths, she said, needed to be delivered with the full weight of human emotion behind them. The holograms showed cramped cages, barely large enough for children to stand. Human children, dozens of them, taken from colony worlds on the outer rim by Zelkran slavers, their small faces pressed against the bars, eyes wide with terror and confusion. Some were crying. Others had gone silent, their spirits broken by weeks of captivity. "These are our young," Hermione continued, her voice trembling now, not with fear but with rage. "The most sacred responsibility of any civilization is the protection of its children. And you—" She swept her arm across the assembled delegates. "You allowed this to happen." Ambassador Thralix of the Vrath clicked his mandibles dismissively. "The Zelkran operate beyond council jurisdiction. We cannot be held responsible." "Silence!" The word exploded from Hermione with such force that several delegates recoiled. Quill had never heard her scream before. In 5 years of diplomatic service together, through negotiations with hostile species and tense treaty discussions, she had always maintained her composure. But this was different. This was about children. "You claim no responsibility?" Hermione's laugh was bitter. The Zelkran trading routes pass through 7 council-monitored sectors. Their ships dock at stations you control. Their profits flow through banks you regulate. She pulled up another hologram, financial records that Quill had spent weeks acquiring through less than legal channels. "You didn't just allow this. You enabled it. You profited from it." The Inari representative, a swirling cloud of bioluminescent gas, pulsed with what Quill recognized as their species' expression of discomfort. The human colonies were established in violation of the Outer Rim Accords. Technically, they exist outside protected space. "Our children!" Hermione roared, slamming her fist on the central podium. The sound reverberated through the chamber. "You're talking about legal technicalities while our children are being sold like livestock." She pulled up another image. This one showed a Zelkron auction house, where human children stood on platforms while buyers examined them like merchandise. Quill felt his stomach churn. Even though he had seen these images before, some wounds never stopped bleeding. "Let me tell you something about humanity," Hermione said, her voice dropping to a dangerous whisper that somehow carried to every corner of the vast chamber. "We are not the strongest species in this galaxy. We are not the most advanced. We don't have the Koldrath's armor or the Vrath's hive mind or the Inari's phase-shifting abilities." She walked slowly toward the Vrath ambassador, who instinctively backed away despite being twice her size. "But we have something that makes us more dangerous than all of you combined. We have memory. And we have fury." Quill watched as Hermione activated the final hologram. It showed a fleet, the entire human defense force assembled at the edge of council space. Hundreds of warships, their weapon systems powered and ready. "You think we're a young species," Hermione continued. "You think we don't understand galactic politics. You think we'll accept your excuses and your bureaucratic delays." She turned to face the entire council. "You're wrong," Ambassador Thralix clicked nervously. "You cannot threaten the council with military action." "The treaty?" "The treaty?" Hermione's smile was terrifying in its coldness. "The same treaty that was supposed to protect our colony worlds? The same treaty you ignored while our children were being caged?" She shook her head. "That treaty died the moment you failed to act." Quill stepped forward now, adding his voice to hers. "We're not here to threaten you. We're here to inform you of what's about to happen. In 6 hours, human defense forces will enter Zelkran space. Every slave ship, every auction house, every facility that has held our children will be reduced to atoms." "But that's not all," Hermione added, her eyes glinting with cold determination. "Every species that turned a blind eye, every government that enabled this trade, every corporation that profited from the suffering of human children, You will all pay a price. The Inari representative pulsed frantically. This is madness. You'll start a galactic war. No, Hermione said softly. You already started it. When you caged our children, you declared war on humanity. You just didn't realize it yet. She pulled out a data chip and placed it on the podium. This contains the locations of every human child we've identified in captivity. It also contains a list of every species and corporation complicit in their capture. Consider it our declaration of intent. Quill watched the council members exchange nervous glances. They were finally beginning to understand what they had awakened. Humans have a saying, Hermione said as she turned to leave. Hell hath no fury like a mother whose child has been harmed. Now multiply that fury by billions. That's what you're facing. That's what you brought upon yourselves. As they walked out of the chamber, Quill heard the chaos erupting behind them. Delegates shouting, demanding emergency sessions, calling for their fleets. But it was too late. The gears of human retribution were already in motion. Do you think they understand now? Quill asked quietly. Hermione's expression was granite. They will. And more importantly, the universe will remember. No species will ever touch a human child again. We'll make sure of that. Above them, through the transparent dome of the council station, the first human warships began to appear, their hulls reflecting the light of distant stars. The universe was about to learn an important lesson. Humanity could forgive many things, but not this. Never this. The age of underestimating humanity was over. The age of remembering had just begun.